So it would be a tragedy if we would have this panel without recognizing two great women who came before us, members of Council for National Policy. Phyllis Schlafly, who single-handedly galvanized homemakers in the late 70s and early 80s to defeat ERA. I know I got my first taste of political experience when I was 16 years old, and I set out on the state of Florida to debate ERA. And Phyllis Schlafly, I had a chance to meet her when I was 16, and when my daughter turned 16, I took her to meet Phyllis as well. So Phyllis, of course, led the way, and seriously, we would not be where we are in America today if she had not defeated the ERA. And of course, the other woman is Beverly LaHaye, who started Concerned Women for America. She was not involved in politics. She was a wonderful stay-at-home mother, and she saw a feminist on TV, Eleanor Smeal, I believe it was, say, "I speak for all women," and she stood up in front of her chair in her living room and said, "Over my dead body," and she started Concerned Women for America, and now Penny has taken that mantle. So we have a long legacy of women who've worked hard, and I also want to recognize all of you women in the audience who in your sphere of influence have boldly stood for truth. You've boldly stood against those who are bitter and tell lies and tried to divide your family and try to destroy your natural womanhood that God has graced you with. But I want to get back to Phyllis for a moment because Anne has an update for us about the attempt to rewrite history about who Phyllis Schlafly is. Anne?
Certainly, and to Kristen's point about we should have been wearing aprons, well, you know, my mother always said, homemakers as policymakers. That's what we strive to do. So I realized that there was a concerted effort to rewrite history and to push the Equal Rights Amendment back into the public fore and to sell it on this basis of equality when I got the news that Cate Blanchett was going to be starring as Phyllis Schlafly in a new drama. This is fictional. This is making up the story. 9-part drama that's going to air on Hulu on April 15th is when it starts. It's 9 segments, and they have an agenda. Cate Blanchett, who is a 2-time Oscar award-winning actress, has said quite clearly that she disagrees with everything Phyllis ever stood for, and she relishes the opportunity to tell her story and Cate Blanchett's point of view. And so the purpose is to say, well, this was a mistake. You know, we should have ratified it back in the 70s. We can fix this now. If but for this one person, all the rest of women, American women, wanted this to happen. So this movie that's going to come out, I think will be an attempt to rewrite history. I ask you all to put in your opinions on it or send them to me of whatever you think, because what I've seen in the previews is that, for example, they show my parents having a very contentious marriage. And I can assure you that was not at all the case. My mother did what she was able to do because she had the full support and love of my father. I mean, that's what made it a partnership and why she valued marriage so much. So I think this is part of a movement. As we know, Hollywood doesn't like conservative women. And if they can paint conservative women with a Schlafly brushstroke, then we all are being attacked by Hollywood when they do this. So last month, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel had a little segment where they described my mother as anti-Semitic, racist, homophobic, sexist, a bad person, evil, someone who must be destroyed. This is part of a plan because if you are a conservative woman, and I know this will come as a shock, Hollywood doesn't like you. Hollywood considers you a threat. Hollywood must destroy you. And I believe that what they're trying to do is to rewrite the name Schlafly so that it can be a shorthand the way they rewrote the word McCarthyism. And all you have to say is Schlaflyism, and then that says, oh, you hate women.